Says, hello, Brian and James. I want to start this email by saying that I am a fan of the show and the work that both of you have done. My name is Bryce Hauser. I'm a master's student at the University of Florida studying international business and environmental science. I'm looking to work in the business side of renewable energy upon my graduation in May, and I'm reaching out for your help. Renewable energy is no doubt the solution to climate change and the global warming crisis. However, I recently started to learn more about the cobalt mining in the Congo, the absurdly harmful and awful human and environmental impacts that are taking place there. Due to the bulk of cobalt mined going to renewable energy such as EVs, I've reached a crisis because I pursued this career to help the environment and people. But I can't but feel that I'm a part of this problem. I wanted to ask, what is your opinion on the cobalt mining in the Congo? And if you have any information on it or have talked about it in the podcast, please let me know. Thank you for your time. I'm inspired by you both. Thank you so much, Bryce. We appreciate the kind words and the letter. Brian, I've got a few things to say, but I'll let you start off and take a shot at this.
Well, I mean, it's a difficult topic. I'm certainly not an expert on cobalt in the Congo, except I think we've all heard about, negative things as far as that.
Very negative things.
Yeah, and I think, this is, I think often the first thing that comes up, not cobalt specifically, but when I tell people I've got a clean energy podcast or something, they almost always leap to the negatives about it, where, yeah, like there's still a carbon footprint to electric vehicles. Like, none of this stuff is a perfect solution, but it's, 1,000 times better than digging up oil and burning it. Like, there's literally thousands of people dying from air pollution every single day. So it'd be difficult to add up the negatives about clean energy and have them somehow be worse.
They produce 60% of the world's supply of cobalt, I have here, and cobalt has been used in most lithium-ion batteries for decades and decades. And Forbes has pointed out that no one's throwing away their cell phones. But, to be fair, a lot more batteries obviously go into an EV. And there's all kinds of hideous things going on in the Congo and all kinds of things where they try to correct it and maybe not. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and cobalt is one of the smaller elements in these batteries, but when you make so many of them, it's a problem.
So on the bright side, Bryce, according to Forbes, there's a solid financial reason why EV makers are reducing and eventually hope to eliminate cobalt from their batteries. It's hugely expensive, and one of the main contributors to the comparatively high purchase price of EVs. Now, Brian, Tesla has done this with LFP, like lithium phosphate batteries, right? They're not as energy dense, but they're safer and they have no cobalt. Let me just read it here. Sorry, I said lithium phosphate. It's iron phosphate batteries, LFP, which are quite common now. I think Tesla had half their batteries were LFP last year. They don't use nickel or cobalt, are traditionally cheaper and safer, but they offer less energy density, which is a problem for EVs. But Bryce, it's not a problem for decarbonizing the grid, right, Brian? Because you don't care about energy density so much when you're putting a giant battery installation on a piece of land. It doesn't matter. You don't care about the weight. You don't care about the volume
Yeah,
as much.
and the LFP batteries are just cheaper too, so we can
Right.
deploy more of them at a lower cost.
Yeah, less efficiency and shorter range means they're going into the shorter range vehicles, but not the more premium, longer range versions of vehicles will have the different batteries. But hopefully, that'll change soon. Lately, they have improved enough that it now makes sense to use cobalt-free batteries in lower end and shorter range electric vehicles, according to Electric, and also frees up the production of battery cells with other more energy dense chemistries to produce longer range vehicles. Tesla was early in recognizing this, and I remember Elon Musk talking about this fact, and he started adopting the chemistry for shorter range fairly quick, first in China, I believe.
Yeah, and then the other issue were patents, that there are patents to the LFP batteries which just recently expired, I think at the beginning of this year, end of last year or something like that. So that's another thing that's making the LFP batteries cheaper to produce.
And just as a follow-up here, the Democratic Republic of Congo does have 60% of the world's cobalt production, but they're not everyone, right? Russia, unfortunately, is second.
Second place, yeah.
They're not using children, I don't think, in their mines. Who knows? But they are using the money from that for nefarious reasons, I'm sure. Australia, though, is number 3, but it is a fraction of what the Congo does. And Philippines and Canada is actually, let's see here, second, third, fourth, fifth but we're a 25th of the Congo. The thing is, though, everyone's aware of the Congo problem, and they're trying to exert pressure to fix it, or they're not going to, Congo's not going to sell any cobalt, and that's going to be that. At least to a lot of people, they're going to sell a lot less of it. They're expanding as much cobalt production as possible everywhere else.
Yeah.
They're the pedals to the metal, and they're doing it as fast as they can. Cuba also has some, in Papua New Guinea. But like I said, they're all fractions of what the Congo has. But altogether, there's 40%, and hopefully that keeps going up.
And if you have it for sale and you're not the Congo and you're not Russia, people will want to buy it.
Yes, and then they'll be the first people to sell it, and so there's a big incentive to invest.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's important just not to get despondent about it because, of course, the clean energy transition is not perfect. There's certainly downsides to it, but the biggest downside is digging up oil and burning it. Like, we obviously have to stop doing that.
And, you'll hear all kinds of negative things, but a lot of these things are whipped up by the fossil fuel industry.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that, cobalt in Congo is ethical. It's not.
Yeah.
But, the fossil fuel industry is constantly reminding people of a lot of things that aren't factual. And, it's not just coming from Congo.
Yeah,
60% of it was.
They've got lots of people kind of spreading their information for them because, like I say, it's the first thing, not necessarily the Congo, but people always bring up the negative aspects when they, start talking to me about clean energy.
It's more likely that it's going to be in your cell phone battery in a few years than in your EV, because the cell phone needs energy density. The EV is bigger, and they'll be able to charge faster and have smaller batteries than the extended range versions of the vehicles now. So, yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about it, although this is definitely a growing pain and it's very frustrating. But I would not be discouraged because it's not the future, it's the present.
Yeah.
And things are going to get better, and 50% of batteries right now are now cobalt free, and that's only going to get better. Everything's going to get better every day. So I applaud you for what you've done with your career and your caring about people. We are the same way, and we encourage you to have a successful run in your life, and let us know. Keep us up to date on the very interesting things that I'm sure you're going to do and encounter in your life.
Yeah. Thanks, Bryce.